This is Salamancer, and I am demanding that you turn your monitors upside down because we are about to watch some Australian Team Fortress 2. And this is going to be an awesome game here. One of the very best, in fact, series or games, or whatever you want to call it. These are the top Australian teams. IM versus FRAY. IM in the blue right now, FRAY in the red. They're getting out to the mid-fight, and Bulk is already there for Team IM. IM has been the dominant team in Australia. I know this much. They have been the dominant team for a very long time. But we do potentially have FRAY pushing in and maybe making them feel a little hesitant about claiming that title this season. Oh, except Emporia is so ridiculous. And I gotta tell you that watching Australian soldiers, it's pretty cool. It's a good experience. Now we do all know. Sorry, I just remembered to fix my microphone gain. But yeah, we do all know that the Australian soldiers are good. And we've seen in the last game I casted, it was between, wasn't even between these teams, but it did include Snowblind. But yeah, the last Australian game I casted, ridiculous. They were utterly ridiculous. There were so many air shots because these Australian soldiers, they practice. In fact, Australia was basically where ulti duo was invented. And if you've never played ulti duo before, it's just medic soldier versus medic soldier, king of the hill. It's all about soldier all the time. So they know they're soldiering in Australia. But that's not to discount everybody else too, because we saw Snowblind make some incredible plays when he was subbing for one of the teams last week. And there you go, picks off a Poria right away as soon as I say it. So it does look like these scouts kind of know what they're doing. Now we do have FRAY losing a soldier of their own. The Ubers seem to be exchanged, but right now Snowblind getting on top of the point. He did decide to hop off here as he sees the opportunity for some sweet kills, and Snowblind is actually going to pick up all the kills here for FRAY right now. He's going to start sneaking in towards last as well. I am probably not feeling very good about this. Now, you know, okay, yes, it's not like they never drop a round here and there, but this looks really, really one-sided. I'm not sure what's up with this. FRAY definitely looking really solid against these guys. So, my question is, what happens now? Can IM actually defend this with their uber disadvantage? It's possible. I mean, you got Ven Breaker on the sniper right now, using his op. He's ready to go. He wants to make sure that if that med ever peeks his head into this area, that he or whatever target he is pocketing into the last point die instantly. So he's got this thing fully charged. 150 damage for a body shot, but 450 for a headshot. And it looks like he's actually switching to Pyro, realizing the enemy's going to come in with an uber advantage, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. So instead of that, he will be air blasting it around. And there you have it. He is going to start air blasting him right away, trying to keep him out for as long as possible. And they will finally take him down, but look how long that took. It was 3 or 4 seconds he took away from that Uber, just focusing on him. Nonetheless, I am losing almost all their players. This has been a great round for FRAY, and they are going to capture no problem. That is so incredibly easy looking for them to defeat IM. That's pretty ridiculous. Of course, IM naming themselves Team Dongs. I do like this this new config. I haven't seen this before, but ATF2L updating their configs very nicely. I like that. The colors are pretty cool. I don't know if that's the Australian national flag. No, it's not. It's just, I'm kidding. It's like blue and red and some white on it or something. But it's mostly blue, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Or am I right? For, of course, Soul destroying a scout in midair, and that is what we expect from these soldiers. They do allow in ATF2L, it's kind of a weird hybrid between North America and Euro rules. They allow some unlocks, but fewer than they allow in North America. Nonetheless, among the unlocks they allow, the escape plan. So the soldier is so much more powerful here than he is in vanilla, just because of that. Question, I think they allow the gunboats as well, I believe. Let me see if we can find... yep, there you go. Soul here is using the gunboats for Team FRAY. They're getting out to the middle point right now, and in fact have already captured it. So, question is, what do they do next? And right now, hopping around behind this trash area, they are going to try and force an Uber at a saber leg, but not even getting any damage right now. So Putty uncharacteristically missing a bunch of rockets. Or I don't know, maybe it's characteristic for him. Actually, you wouldn't think in a high level like this in Australian TF2, but who knows? And we've got our scouts look like they're positioned to hop that Spire. The Spire, of course, one of the most interesting points in all of TF2, and you hear so many. Ooh, I'll talk about that in a little bit, just because we have some escape plans going on right now that are not really going to go very well. Although Snowblind did take down one of his attackers, his harassers. I've heard a lot of competitive players say that Spire, that second point there, is just one of the greatest points in all of TF2. Well designed, a lot of fun for jump play and for serious competitive stuff. Poor demo man, look at him. But right now, IM is starting to look like they've they're back on form. At very least, they're taking in a bunch of FRAY players, and you saw what happened. As soon as FRAY started losing a couple players, they started to try to retreat. They got their demo out for a little while, and they of course did save their med, but it was a very good collapse by Team IM. And there goes the Uber. Saberleg popping it just now. He has not found the enemy medic yet. But the thing is, that's okay, as long as they keep this Uber up here and they keep a lot of players alive to try... Oh, maybe not. I was going to say, as long as they try to keep their players alive, they should be able to cap the Spire and then be able to set their enemies on defense in the last, but they can't do that. FRAY actually coming out and destroying here. That was a really impressive push by FRAY, realizing, okay, oh, though. Aporia is behind them. He's going to go for the back cap. If he can, is he using the pain train too? He is. That is ridiculous. Aporia with such a good weapon choice, not using that escape plan to boost his speed. Instead, using the pain train to boost his capture speed. And he's going to the last point. Is anybody here right now? He's going to go for the back cap. There is a scout. He's taking a lot of damage. He will have to retreat from this. That's too bad. Aporia, I was rooting for you. I mean, that would have been ridiculous. But FRAY, they thought they had the momentum, but now they lose their med. Oh, this is not looking good for them. They get a bunch of kills. And they have, of course, recaptured their second point. So at the very least, they're not in huge trouble right now, but they need to kill the med right away. They've got Snowblind coming in. He takes down the demo, going for the med. Not able to get the shots off yet, but the med does die. That is going to be Soul with the kill. At the very least, FRAY have held on to their second point, and they don't have that hideous, 100% Uber advantage of the enemy pushing it last. They managed to save themselves for now, and so things should stabilize a little bit here on this second point, unless these guys just decide to be utterly ridiculous. But we have our red team deciding, maybe we can push out here. We've got the med, so we have the heal advantage. They're going to have to push through spam, but that is what they're doing right now, and they are going to get in on top of these soldiers over here, taking a couple of them down, at least one. But Soul and Tsunami both killed. Tsunami, of course, the med for Team FRAY here. That is a pretty big deal. Rise and Shine getting around behind and destroying people. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous action, but it's going pretty well so far for Team IM. They lost the first round, but they're looking pretty solid in the second. They just, I think they were caught a little bit off guard by the really aggressive play call from FRAY once they had that Uber. They dropped back with it, they maintained it when the enemy had to pop in the trash of their second, and then they pushed back. But now IM, they've regained their footing, and, they caught the enemy medic trying to use this forward hold. Rise and Shine Sammy was doing a bunch of damage to Tsunami, the red med, and it looks like FRAY is going to have to back away here. They did not manage to do what they wanted to do, which was, stay in that upper hold until they get their Uber, or until they get to 80 or 90%. That's really what you want to do with that forward hold, because if you can, then you nullify the enemy's Uber advantage. And so instead they're going to have to try and find a different way of doing that. They're going to use the Pyro, but the Pyro is easily going to get trapped down here. He's actually doing a really good job of dodging a lot of the damage, but he will probably die. Oh, maybe not. Nice reflect onto Nani, and he takes him down. So Soul actually finishes that off. That was a really good Pyro play there from Snowblind. It's just that IM is still in here. It is 4v3 right now. The Pyro gets some of that Uber, burning people to death. Then Breaker feeling nice and toasty. And Tsunami's got to be careful about this, and he does end up dying, and so, that was the wrong decision for the demo and the Pyro to start trying to walk out of there. Don't know what they were chasing, but there were too many players from IM. They managed to grab the point, and so despite the existence of that awesome Pyro... Turmo, having some problems here. Despite the existence of the amazing Pyro, that was pretty good. And there you have it. We've got Turmo starting to lay the sticks down. He knows his rollout was slower, so he is going to be in the worst position from the demo man point of view. That's why he took that window rollout. He was trying to catch up and avoid some damage from the enemy demo man in that normal house rollout. Going for an air shot or an air pipe there as well, but he's going to be in some trouble. He does get some damage done before he dies, so that's pretty good. He managed to hold off the enemy for a little while here. Turmo, in fact, helped his team considerably take that point, but his soldiers finishing everything off. That's Putty and Tsunami capping the point right now, and of course neither of them is going to have that pain train. It really doesn't make a lot of sense for your pocket soldier to have a pain train, because he's not going to be the one doing most of the capturing. It's going to be your scouts, your demo man, your soldiers. Oh, excuse me. That's kind of how this thing works. So Team FRAY ready to push in, and they've got a huge Uber advantage, so they want to make this work for them for the second round running. Now they've got to deal with an enemy who is entrenched on their battlements. But Ven Breaker jumping out here, and he is going to start helping clean up. It's just that it's not quite enough. FRAY getting a bunch of kills. Putty wants to think about jumping up one way or the other, trying to deal the damage, and he will decide to help his scout build the capture time for a little while. Deciding to take his medic in through the lower right instead of through that, medic was thinking about walking upstairs, but whatever. I think they're going in through here now. Now, they do not have the Uber advantage, but they still got a player advantage. In fact, a huge player advantage, and Putty takes down Aporia over on the side. We will have just enough blue Uber to get some of their members respawning. The Dome Man respawns bulk, and so that's going to be a pretty big deal. FRAY, I don't know if they should be pushing this anymore. It's 4 against 5, really. Local numbers actually are really good right now. But once again, a lot of players dying for IM. Oh, Putty trying to kill this scout, and he did a lot of damage, but it was not quite enough. So Team FRAY kind of flubbing that push. And of course, you know, they weren't fast enough to get in there with 100% Uber advantage. Kind of too bad. They did have an advantage, but they couldn't capture that Spire. And so, oh, Saber Leg, though, dying to Snow. The Snowblind is so ridiculous. Who is this guy? I'm sure he's been around, like, forever in the ATF2L scene. They're calling him a hacker. But, no, I'm sure he has just been around forever. It's just that I don't know the Australian scene very well, so I feel really bad about that. But this is an amazing game so far, and I feel like we should just watch the Snowblind cam for the rest of the game. Should we do that? Should we do that? Yes, we should. What a great decision. Oh, man. So he's going to sneak in straight towards last. Now, he does see a soldier in there, doesn't want to take any damage, and he decides to back away. Just going to watch him as he tries to capture some territory for his team, taking the upstairs. And, of course, he kind of knows that he can expect the enemy to pretty much abandon this upper lobby at this point. But FRAY has a huge Uber advantage. So what I am going to do about this, trying to defend their last point, they don't have any off classes, which is actually really weird considering the enemy does have that Uber advantage. They do now have Venbreaker on the sniper, thinking about sniping anyway, but it's actually going to be too late. The Uber's already in. Ven is going to have to swap classes or something. Not a lot of damage going down, but Bulk does die now. Pyro coming out, and he's going to die real fast. Now Soul jumping up to try and kill the Med, and IM is not going to defend this. FRAY bringing it up to 2-1. Nice and quickly. I like this. I do like, of course, my fast games of TF2, but then the slow games tend to be the ones that are like really super back and forth and awesome, especially when they're at this level. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with a little more TF2 now, is there? Nice little rocket jump there from Soul. Looks like they're taking the Valley rollout this time. And Soul actually jumping underneath the Valley. This is a very Epsilon thing to do from the European scene, that underneath the Valley rollout. And so what Soul has done effectively there is he's cut off the enemy's health kit from their own house. They can't get back in here to retreat, and look at that, Soul kills Saber Leg. No problem right now. I think that's a Saber Leg Tiger, actually. One of those animals from the Pleistocene epic, or whatever they call it, that, you know, it looks like a tiger, except that in place of legs, it has, you know, swords. The Saber Leg Tiger. I kind of want to see a drawing of this now. So, you know, if you've got some artistic skills, you know, send me a message. But FRAY deciding to push again, and they have plenty of space to do it. They've got to be careful about the jumping soldiers. I mean, beautiful jumps right now from the IM team. But the problem is they might be overextending. No! They managed to get the Uber drop out of Tsunami. What a huge play there from, I think that was Nani, jumping in and destroying. And I don't know what that guy's actual name is, but that was a pretty ridiculous play. Now it is just Bout and the demo man, Turmo. Turmo is going to try and lay some sticky traps here, but that is not going to be enough. He could get flanked and surrounded from any number of directions. He's got a soldier with him now, so he will be a little bit safer. But there's no way that FRAY is going to get in there and capture. And in fact, they're probably going to lose the middle point just because they have this huge Uber disadvantage. Saberleg going to bring the rest of his team up forward. And we're going to watch the Aporia cam. I think we're going to watch the Aporia cam. As he's going to jump right in, go for some kills. And I got to tell you, I just tried playing some soldier of my own today, and it's hard to do. Not gonna lie, I'm really terrible at soldier. So when I watch these guys, you know, jumping around like this, weaving through the air, and still managing to land rockets on each other with any degree of efficiency at all, I'm always amazed. But these guys are utterly amazing soldiers. And of course, I would love to see them in a LAN environment against, you know, American players. It'd be pretty cool, right? Get one of those big global TF2 LANs going again, huh? What do you think about that? I think it'd be cool. Aporia, of course, playing the roaming soldier role. He's going to jump and capture the Spire. And it looks like FRAY losing a bunch of players now. It is their turn, after all, to do just that. But they've got a nice little Uber advantage, taking out a bunch of players of their own. And now, oh, Tsunami in a lot of trouble. He does not want to drop another Uber. That would be like the worst feeling as a medic ever. So, does manage to grab that health kit. He got away, didn't have to pop it. Basically, if he had to pop the Uber there, it would have been just as bad as dropping it. Because if he'd had to pop it, well, then the enemy would have just kind of backed off. Oh, no! But yeah, the enemy would have backed off and re-pushed with a huge 100% Uber advantage. But now, that is a beautiful Uber, actually. They're bringing it right into the face of a Saberleg. And Saber does get taken out. Snowblind's going to come in and try to clean this up here. He's in a scout battle right now, though. And he's, wow, just barely I don't know what to say, hopped over that rocket, did manage to take down Sammy. And now we'll jump up to try and recapture the second point very quickly. It is imperative that he gets up here and caps this as quickly as possible, because if they don't, they are in huge trouble. They will be sitting there defending their last with a pretty terrible position. So there you go, they do cap it, and they want to make sure they've got their flanks covered. They take some ground here so that they don't lose it again. You know, the two scouts and the roaming soldier there, pretty standard. You see them playing on the flank for IM right now. And I am sitting back, but they do manage to take out Snowblind, which is a pretty huge pick, actually. This is one of those picks where you say, okay, we killed Snowblind, we can go into him now. Although they haven't actually said that. They could. Both teams building the Uber. Tsunami's going to have his first. So I'm interested, like, why Aporia isn't already jumping in. And in fact, it looks like our blue team has decided to jump in right now. They don't have the Uber, and they're pushing into a team that does have Uber, which is a little bit weird. Sam gets taken down. Oh no, Saberleg walks into that Uber. I'm pretty sure Soul and Putty just destroyed him. That is not a good thing. And now Nani is in some trouble of his own. He's found a couple of enemies. Does not manage to kill any of them, although he got Putty very, very low on health. But we do have FRAY, and pretty much the entire FRAY team getting free capture points there. All 6 of them getting a capture. I love it. And let's see what the points say right now. The points tell a pretty big story here, and that is that IM is not looking all that good. They're not looking healthy right now. It is 2-1, and FRAY has the potential to build another Uber advantage, push into last. If they can manage this, I'm almost positive there will be a forward hold of some type. Let's whoosh through a wall. Yes, there is. No, I'm almost positive there is going to be a forward hold here, and I say that because these guys know they've got a bit of an Uber disadvantage. It's not very much, though. It's a very slight disadvantage, only 15%. That's enough that they could actually just kite it in their last point, but they are concerned about enemies coming in, and so they will hold it up here. FRAY is content, actually, it seems, just to kind of sit back. They will walk their med upstairs, and Aporia eats a sticky trap and dies. Tsunami actually could pop the Uber right now, although no, it's a little bit too late, but he could have popped that right into the enemy who were doing that forward hold. They do lose Snowblind. This is actually not looking good for them right now. I think their demo should be able to lay a couple stickies down on the point, but he's going to have to reload and know that Uber really did not work for them at all. Saberleg popping the counter, and he is going to get Bulk and Ven to come out here and destroy a lot of FRAY players. So FRAY has to retreat, and when you've only got 3 players like this, you're probably going to lose that point. They will try and jump a soldier up, and he'll be able to delay this, but I don't think he'll be able to actually stop the capture. Soul is in trouble on top of this point right now. He does die, but Bout manages to take down Nani. Meanwhile, the med for the blue team dies, and if blue can't get this capture, they are in huge trouble. They need to do one of 2 things. They have to capture the Spire, or they have to kill the med, and they can't do either one of those right now. They are in some big trouble, ladies and gentlemen. It does look like Sam actually tried to get in behind. He did some damage to Tsunami, but it was not enough. And now FRAY is going to push straight on into last. They don't even care. They've killed 3 players. Saberleg is just now respawning. FRAY could actually push this right now, and they are. They take down Nani again. And there goes the Uber. So Invincible Soldier versus Regular Soldier. Who wins that one? Well, I'll leave it to you to decide. We report here at SalTV, and you decide. There you go. 3-1. And is that going to be halftime? Well, I guess we'll find out. So 3-1 right now in favor of FRAY, which is not the result I was expecting at the halftime. IM usually is pretty dominant in their leagues. Now, that's not to say they don't lose games, but they're pretty dominant. And they're saying this is a title match. At least that was what I was told in the email. Right now, they are losing a couple players here, too. They actually have 1 less alive at the moment than FRAY. FRAY getting some good positioning on top of their own crates, and they are going to pressure the red team back into their own house. So FRAY wins that mid-fight for now. They've got to be careful about having their Uber popped on them, but I don't think they'll have to worry too much about it, as Bulk is going to walk Saber back. Is that my computer, like, resonating underneath my desk? I think it is, but whatever. It's definitely working its butt off right now. Bulk will, of course, try and stop the cap on FRAY, but he has to be very, very careful here, because those scouts could have walked right into him. Now, of course, they saw the entire team. They didn't really want to walk into that. They actually forced an Uber out of Tsunami pretty early. Saberleg, of course, is going to activate his little saber legs and pop an Uber of his own. FRAY losing quite a few players, but at the very least, they did force the enemy Uber, and they still actually have a pretty good chance of contesting Spire. They are going to jump that with both their demo and their scout, leaving Tsunami alone right now. He's in a little bit of a tight spot, but yeah, his players can drop back to him like this whenever they need to. Demo Man reloading, and he will probably go try for another attempt on the Spire. But actually, this might not be a good idea, as okay, they do back up. That's actually a really good call, because IM has decided they are holding this. And Ben Breaker walking in the house right now, spamming a couple of shots out there, peppering his opponents. Spots that med, and of course, peppering the med, always a fun time. Making him say things like, "Oh, oh!" That's my impression of the medic right there when he is being shot. I think it's pretty good. You don't think it's good? Well, get out of here, okay? Just go do something else and don't watch my videos anymore because I don't like you. I don't like you at all. FRAY still holding on to the middle point though, and Soul decides to die. So I don't know. Aporia managing to catch him out 1v1, but this soldier is in a little bit of trouble. Now he is, that was Nani trying to walk forward with his med through the house, and he got caught there. He wanted to retreat earlier, but he kept getting juggled by Putty. So I think just a tiny little bit more juggling actually would have gotten that kill, but it's tough to do when you've got a med healing the enemy soldier. And Putty now wants to make sure he sticks with his med here because they're still trying to push through this house. This is persistence. This is just like the personification of persistence right now. In this, whoa, oh, that's a little what? Okay, well he's definitely got some scary face paint going on there. I don't even know what to say about that, but Nani is laying down the damage here once again, deciding he really wants to try and take this house if he can. Whoa! Watch out for those soldiers though. Very low on health. He did not want to die there. That would have been a faux pas. Just call it that. But yeah, we definitely don't want to see any soldiers dying for IM at the moment. It would not be good for their potential to win this game. And we like to see close games here on SalTV. The Uber does come in for FRAY. They're not able to do a heck of a lot of damage so far. And in fact, they do force the pop eventually out of the med. But a lot of damage coming in on Putty, and he does get taken down there in the house. Nice shots from Nani, and he's taken down the demo now as well. Trying to go for the scatter, but he's got to be careful. He gets away from the pistol shots just barely and does start catching the heals from the med again. But Saberleg has decided he wants to keep this high health soldier even higher, leading the charge, being the tip of the spear. And Aporia is doing exactly that. Oh, Tsunami eats a couple of pistol shots there from Sammy. And so IM look like they're on a pretty big comeback right now. Putty's the only one left alive for his team, and he does die. Everybody respawns on last point, so it's going to be a 4v6 with a huge Uber advantage here for the red team. IM are making a comeback. And there goes Nani. Oh, Snowblind, though, making a huge play, or trying to. If he'd only had that one more meat shot on Saberleg, he actually would have gotten the kill. Saber was like walking in a straight line. It looked like he really should have gotten that, but he died just before the gun was ready to fire. Oh, so sad. But anyway, that is going to be the round then for IM. I guarantee you this one is going the way of IM. They just have to get Ven onto the point. He'll take some attention. He might die, but not even. Down to 1 health, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. No problem. I will cap the point. So, in this half, now IM is up 1-0. That means it is overall 2... Oh, I gotta pop my knuckles here. It is overall 2-3. IM has brought this game well back within the normal acceptable bounds for a game that could end in a draw. What am I trying to say here? Something dumb, so we'll not worry about it. Aporia, though, gets taken out, and IM once again losing a lot of players. Ven's not going to be able to clean all this up. He wants to kill the scout at the very least, but he dies so fast when a pill from nowhere decides to land on his head. Don't you hate that? Like in real life, somebody is like tossing their medication out of the 3rd story, and you just happen to get hit with a pill, and you're like, what? Why? No? That's never happened to you? Jeez, it's like a daily thing for me. Okay, well, anyway, FRAY pushing forward, and they're looking solid, so I'm pretty sure once they cap this point... I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm pretty darn sure once they capture this point... Yes, people have made fun of me for saying that too much. That we are going to see FRAY with a good chance to win this round. The only thing that's going to stop them is either a ridiculous sticky trap, which doesn't look like there's going to be one. I don't think. Either a ridiculous sticky trap or, a pyro that actually really shuts this down. They do have a heavy out here as well. Sammy on the heavy, 300 health right now, and he can just walk back into spawn and change classes whenever he needs to, or just grab the cabinet and then not grab the cabinet. Whatever, it works. But yeah, FRAY's Uber actually didn't really do anything. They got shut down by the pyro, and now they're losing a lot of players. A good kill by Turmo, but he's going to have to back up here as he's got too little health, and they will get shut down. IM staying in this game very effectively. Saberleg wants to get the heals on his players here. I don't know why he's standing on the point. That's a little scary. But he's still got 100% Uber right now, and as long as they hold on to this, they can defend this point rather effectively. He's really keeping his scouts overhealed. That's It's a very interesting position. Whoa, those were stickies. Okay. Oh, this is why he actually wants to Uber his scouts into the enemy. This is a very risky play. They will send a lot of damage and pressure onto Team FRAY, but they're not getting the med. In fact, where even is Tsunami? He is behind the rest of his team. He's got a huge Uber advantage, and now they've got, you know, only 3 players to deal with instead of all 6. So this round is over, you know, unless they just totally suck, and they don't. There you have it. FRAY winning that one. It is now 4-2, and that was really solid play by FRAY. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. You saw, I don't know if it was necessarily a mistake by IM to push out with the scouts like that, but it definitely turned into a mistake when FRAY realized what was happening, because they saw the scouts push out into them. They saw it very early. I think they tried to push into one player who managed to retreat or die. I don't know. But they saw it happen very early, and then they hid their med really well. They managed to kite the Uber and then lay down a bunch of damage on the scouts and the med. And I mean, so that, you know, pushing with 2 scouts and a med and then nothing else into the entire enemy team just doesn't work all that well against a really, you know, experienced and solid team. And that's what FRAY is showing they are. They're playing a really, really solid game, taking advantage of the enemy's mistakes, ruining them, and now they have won the mid-fight. Saberleg is getting away here with his demo man. 100% Uber for him pretty soon, but he wants to keep his... Oh, he wants to keep his demo... Oh, no! Had to keep a demo alive, and now they're in a position where they absolutely have to defend the Spire for at least the next 30 seconds. If they don't, they lose the game. FRAY is looking so good right now. Aporia, though, does manage to take down a scout on the battlements, and then doesn't have the escape plan out. That was kind of cute. But Aporia, yeah, this does actually look like Aporia will help his team defend at this point. That's a good thing. I am staying in the game 4-2, but, you know, they'll be okay. They will be okay. It's just FRAY is thinking about pushing through this valley, and does anybody see them doing this right now? No. Now they've spotted him, but it might be a little bit too late. Here comes the Uber. Saber is nowhere close. He grabs a health kit, but Snowblind is all over him. An invincible scout taking out the med, and now FRAY has all the time in the world. They can jump the Spire in a leisurely pace. They'll send a soldier up there just to start the capture and not even worry about it. And they want to get Tsunami building this Uber as fast as possible. He does not want to waste any time on the Uber charge. That is the big deal, because once this Uber's ready to go, they can push in. They could actually push in right now, although a bunch of players did just respawn. But they are putting a lot of pressure on this point. If they can get 1 or 2 kills, then it doesn't even matter if they get the Uber. They win. They just win. But no, they will decide to drop it back a little bit. Play slow, homie. And pretty soon they will push in once they have this Uber ready to go. They just need to make sure they're in the right position. Now, Ven Breaker on the Pyro once again. This has worked for them in the past, keeping the Pyro alive and having him air blast that Uber back and forth all over the place. It's a very valid and effective tactic. So we'll see if Ven can actually save the game for IM here. What's gonna happen? I don't know, guys. Ven's just waiting for this Uber to come in. He does see it coming in through the low ground, actually. He's staying on the high ground for the moment because he knows that he can keep things defended pretty well from up there, but he does actually jump down. He's going to try and do some damage, but he's not really helping all that much. Soul is on the point. Doesn't quite get that kill, but it's only Bulk left. Bulk is laying 6 down, but it doesn't matter. Bout almost gets in, and there you have it. That, I think, is the game. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Nani calling it. So thank you so much for watching. Of course, this has been ATF Duel on SalTV. Do subscribe to youtube.com/fatmop for all the fattest of mops and the best of TF2 action.